Hey, let's grill some steak. Once again, hello to all you fit friends and food lovers out there. We're gonna go ahead and use steak to solve a fat loss problem, and that is foods that just take too long to cook. What I think a lot of people don't realize, because it's so often associated with something that is decadent, delicious, restaurant, steakhouse type meal, people don't realize how quick steak can be. It can be delicious, it can feel indulgent, but it can be fast as well. And that's really what makes steak, in my opinion, a fat loss food. Because the faster we can make it, the simpler it is, the more it supports us in our fat loss goals, in our fitness goals. And that's really what I wanna demonstrate today. I wanna show you how simple it can be to grill a steak, have it taste fantastic, and do so while making a side. It's just gonna take a couple of minutes to grill our steak, to steam our broccoli, to have a protein and a side dish, and have a meal. So steak is 100% a fat loss food because of the fact that it is easy enough to cook, takes a couple of minutes, it's quick. It also has protein, all of that sort of jazz, but I think it's a faster food to make at home than most people realize. Here's what I've already done. I've taken some New York strips. They were beautiful bone-in New York strips at the store. I brought them home. I've actually butchered them. I've taken some of the fat off. I've taken the bones off. I even rendered those down in the pan to get the fat in the pan that is beef fat, all that sort of jazz. That's all extra. You don't need to worry about doing that. In fact, the butcher can take care of what I just did. If you want to have fun, do that. By all means, go for it. But when it comes to making steak at home, that is not a requirement whatsoever. So we've got our meat, we've got our broccoli. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that broccoli has enough water content that you can essentially microwave it whole and it'll steam itself. So we're gonna take advantage of that to quickly steam some broccoli while we sear our steaks, let them rest, and get ready to enjoy ourselves a lovely meal. And with any luck, I won't set off any smoke detectors. For me, when it comes to seasoning steak, I don't need anything too fancy, just some simple salt and pepper usually is enough to get me very excited. Flip it to the other side. Man. These New York strips were looking gorgeous. I simply couldn't leave them in the store. The pan is smoking hot. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and get angle 2 turned on officially so that we can see that smoking hot pan. We're gonna get this down and then we're gonna press it and hold it for about 15, 20, 30 seconds to make sure we get that really good sear on it. So I'm gonna get this meat down and we're gonna get rolling. As that sear begins, and before I set off the smoke detector, I'm gonna go ahead and get the broccoli in the microwave about 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, beautiful sear. Now that we have that first side seared, I'm gonna crush some garlic still in the husk. Get that in the pan with some thyme, some rosemary, some butter for some butter basting. Moving kind of quick here. Again, I'll add voiceover if I need to explain stuff or even text overlays, but I'm gonna go ahead and get these herbs in the pan. And then a nice bunch of butter, maybe about a tablespoon. I'm gonna turn that heat down a bit as well for the butter base. Full disclosure, I'm gonna be basting for a little bit here. I could have played with the time, I could have made it go on like hyper speed, we could have gotten through this faster, but I really wanted to show a genuine representation of how long it takes to make this meal. Because it's not that long, but it maybe feels long as I'm sitting here basting. So while I'm sitting here basting, I figured it's as good a time as any to remind you to hit that like button, subscribe, be sure to click the bell icon so you don't miss another video, because I want you to be right here with me as we solve fat loss problems through food. And with that in mind, I'd actually love for you to comment and let me know what foods you'd like to see me use to solve more fat loss problems in the future. Whether it's one of your favorite recipes you'd like to see done in a way that better supports your goals, or things that you think can't possibly be a fat loss food, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to get some ideas for the next recipe video so that I can continue solving fat loss problems through food, bringing you along for the ride. Broccoli is done. It is a smokehouse in here. Goodness gracious. Okay, so the broccoli's done. The steak is nice and seared, butter basted, keeping it nice and delicious. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove that from the heat. I'm gonna, check it's doneness. I'm gonna kind of go by feel for that. I'm gonna remove it from the heat. I'm gonna let it rest while we prep the broccoli. The broccoli was still a little underdone, so I'm giving that a couple more minutes. One thing that is important with steak that a lot of people overlook is letting it rest. Obviously, we're a little eager to have at it, right? But I think it's super important to let it rest. By not having the broccoli at the ready, by giving it a couple more minutes, it means we get to rest it. We want it to be warm, of course, but we don't want to cut into it right away and get all of the juices flying everywhere. We want that steak to be juicy. We want it to be delicious. Steamy. Gonna cut a handful of florets. Nice mountain of broccoli there. Drippings up over the top of broccoli. And a fresh made gremolata. Herbs. Lemon, super bright, super acidic, super refreshing, and then the finishing touches of some flake salt on top. And there you go. In just a matter of minutes, we have a full meal. We grilled up our steak, we've got steamed veggies, we even topped that with a fresh gremolata. We're solving fat loss problems through food. I'm gonna cut into this steak.